came across this movie because it was everywhere. Didn't really have any expectations, but outside of the cool animation, the banging soundtrack, there was surprisingly a lot of emotional moments that really stuck with me. I didn't expect to relate as much as I did and feel seen as an anxious, overthinking type. So, quick little synopsis if you haven't seen the movie, it's basically all about how the power of K pop saves the world. That when the main girl group sings their songs, they enlight this sort of like spirit and happiness within their fans that creates this magical veil across the world and protects or prevents demons from entering the world and feeding on their souls, which is very much a fantasy, but there were also like some very human elements to this because the main character, Rumi, who is doing good things by killing the bad guys who are the demons, feeling good about that, has a very real internal struggle because we find out that she's actually part demon. And so she has this struggle of wanting to do good, but also feeling internally that part of her is inherently wrong. Along with that, there's of course performance anxiety as a performing group. And then they also are constantly in fear of being watched and judged with this pressure that they always have to be everything to everyone. And the moment that really hit me was when the girls went to Healer Han when Rumi's voice was, it kept cracking to try and find a solution for that. And essentially, Healer Han was looking at each of the girls, and just by looking at them, he could tell what each of the girls' problems were. And then when he turns to Zoe, he's like, you look like you're really eager to please, but maybe a little too eager to please. And then she turns to the other girls and she's like, what? No, I'm not like that. But you would tell me if I was really like that, right? Essentially validating what Healer Han said, looking for external validation. And I felt kind of called out low key because I'm like, is that me? Because I'm totally all smiles and no boundaries because I don't want to offend anyone. I'm afraid of being judged and not being liked, and then it leads to this spiral because my internal and external worlds are not in alignment. Internally, I'm like, wait a second, I don't think that was it. But externally, I'm like, oh no, it's fine. So if you're also an anxious, overthinking people pleaser, maybe in group settings, you just kind of go along with the flow. You don't really want to cause any trouble. You don't really confront anyone if something bothers you. And the part about this scene that really struck me actually was how Healer Han was essentially looking at each girl, Zoe, Rumi, and Mira, seeing how each of them were affected by some childhood trauma of they're somehow being instilled in them that they're not good enough if they don't perform, if they don't act a certain way. And it shows up in different ways for the girls. So with Rumi, it's overperforming. For Mira, it is being skeptical and kind of standoffish. And for Zoe, it's people pleasing. But with what I'm learning in counseling school and as I move through life is really this concept of building an inner relationship with yourself where you feel safe, where you don't need to seek external validation for you to feel worthy. Trying to build that inner security so that you feel safe within yourself. Like practicing inner child work, thinking back to how your past self acted in these sort of situations because it was a coping mechanism. And then kind of looking back in retrospect and being like, okay, what did I need in that moment? What did little me need in that moment? Can I give me that now so that I can feel that sense of security now on my own? Then also validating feelings, not being like, oh, I feel this way. Like, why do I feel this way? Can it stop? But instead shifting that narrative to, I am feeling anxious and that's okay. This will pass. That's totally a normal response. That doesn't make me an anxious person. That just makes me human. So that's why I think this movie is still having a lasting effect on me outside of it being everywhere on my feed. It's a reflection of a healing journey, of my healing journey. There's so many emotional themes being explored, like overthinking, pressure to perform, feeling like you need to be at a certain performing level in order for you to be good enough. And I think in the redemption song at the very end of the movie that illustrates how we should address this best, letting the jagged edges meet the light instead. Ugh, that one was so good. Just like letting your imperfections show instead of hiding them. There's courage in imperfection. There's courage in showing up as you. You're the only one that can do you, can be you. And there's power in being able to find your voice without the lies and being like, this is what it sounds like. Ugh, that's such a banging soundtrack. But I think that's why we're drawn to movies so much, is because they beautifully illustrate a lot of common human experiences and make us feel like we're not alone, you know? So if you are also working on trying to find your voice, I actually made a video about how I'm learning to speak up as an anxious overthinker, people-pleasing type of person. So I'm going to go ahead and link it. I think it's here. Yeah, we'll say it's here. So until the next video, I'll talk to you later.